everyone. Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? Hello, everyone. Let us know in the comment section. Tell us what your name is and where you are joining us from, and one word to describe how are you feeling today. Let me give you an example. So, this is Shriya from Bangalore, and I am very excited. Great. So, let us know in the comments where you have joined us from. If you are from Bangalore, then Namaskara Bengaluru. If you are from anywhere across the globe, hello everyone. Inviting you all to our awesome live stream today. How are you all doing? How are you all doing? There is Joey, there is Aruhi, there is Rohit, there is Akash. Hello everyone. Feeling awesome. Yes, we are doing awesome, great today. We are going to have a fantastic session with you all. Hello. Let us give a few minutes before we get started. So today we are going to be talking about introduction to motion experience with no code, right? And this is the first Lottie Bengaluru event presented to you all. And we are going to have a fantastic evening today with lots of great learning. And make sure you stay with us till the end of the session because we are going to have some crazy giveaways. So hit that like button, share it with all your friends so that you can participate in our awesome giveaway. Let's get started. So hello everyone, I'm Shriya and I'm the Lottie community organizer from Bangalore, India. I'm a product designer at Flipkart and I welcome you all for today's session. So let's a little bit play an interesting game. So we will play an emoji game with you all. So what you all have to do is I'm going to flash you some phrases, anecdotes, and sentences, and you have to enter a corresponding emoji for that. It can be happy, it can be surprised, it can be sad, it can be frustrated, anything. Let us know what emoji would correspond to the sentence that I'm going to flash. So we are going to have 3 sentences. Let's start with the first one. The first one is, should designers learn to code? We have always heard this all the time, right? So what emoji do you think would go with should designers learn to code? You would have heard it all the time. We designers hear it all the time. I myself hear it all the time, although I have been a developer. So Chiranjit says, oh, Chiranjit is giving a laughing smiley. Yeah, obviously. That's what we feel when someone says, do you learn to code? What do you all think? Should designers learn to code? Is that a debate? Let us know in the comment section. Great. Awesome. Oh, there's a high five. Yeah, definitely. Let's see the second one. I love it, but there are few more changes I think we should make. Ooh, haven't we heard it when we create the designs for our stakeholders? They love it, but they want some more changes. Oh, there are lots of comments. Shreya says, Shreya is frustrated. Yeah, Shreya, we feel you. Gemini says, oh, he's giving a smiley. Aro is giving, ooh, yeah, we are all like that. Yeah. Harish is crying. Yeah, Harish. That's what I also feel when there are, you have to make lots of changes. Yeah, that's true. Let's move on to the next one. When you see another designer using 17.2 pixel padding, haven't you seen all that as designers? Developers using 17.2 pixels as padding. It's really frustrating. Himanshu has given a very Dracula smiley. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Let us know in the comments section what emoji will clearly depict a developer using 17.2 pixel padding. Yeah, it's mind blowing. It's mind blowing. Awesome. You guys are a fantastic audience. Oh God, I'm so overwhelmed. I know there are 27 people on the live, and I'm really, really grateful and thankful to all of you. Make sure you hit the like button so that everyone can get to know about today's event before we get started with our content and all the fun, exciting giveaways that is going to come. So please stay till the end of the video. All right, let's move on. So let me tell you what Lottie Bangalore is about. Our objective is to build a community to connect all the passionate folks in motion design, and we want to augment the potential of crafting next generation experiences using motion design, right? And we are an exclusive community, right? We want to include anyone, everyone across the globe who wants to join us with our learnings and what we share. We believe that whatever we create as content or we want to share with you goes on further, and it ripples, the knowledge ripples, and sharing is what we all believe in. So we do have a very inclusive community at Lottie Bangalore, and I'm going to be your host and friend across all the sessions that we are going to have at Lottie Bangalore. Awesome. Let me give you a little bit brief about what Lottie Files is. So Lottie Files is a platform of testing, collaborating for all the developers, designers who put down their motion design on Lottie Files, and animators and all the engineers who use it in turn, to build those awesome products using Lottie Files, right? They have use cases across different platforms for walkthroughs, for animation, for websites, for stickers, for reactions. It's the motion. Motion brings out emotion, right? Do you agree to it? Let us know in the comment section if motion is emotion for you. And all the animated icons are powered using Lottie Files, right? And 130,000 companies are using Lottie Files. You can see there are so many logos from Google, Facebook, Amazon, Swiggy, Shopify. All of them are using Lottie Files to ship their products and bring out that emotion in their users. Do you agree or not? Definitely you would have seen motion design on many of such apps. So let us know in the comment section where you have seen motion design, right? So let me take you to a little bit teaser of Lottie Files and what Lottie Files is about. So let's have a look at that.
I've got a big fat drum, big fat drum. I've got a big fat drum, pounding so bad. I've got a big fat drum, big fat drum. I've got a big fat, big. Listen. Yeah. Clap. You ready? Let's go.
Whoa, wasn't that fantastic? Great. So let's move on and welcome today's speaker for us, that is Vidhu. And I'm going to give you a little bit background about how I met him first. So when I was thinking about motion design and the areas that interest me, I spoke to Vidhu the first time, and he has blown me away, and I'm sure he's going to blow you all today as well. So Vidhu is someone who believes in crafting meaningful experiences for business and definitely for our users. He's currently mentoring on ADP list, and you're going to be hearing more from him. So I'm going to hand over the stage to Vidhu. So please, you all welcome Vidhu. Hey
Shreya, hi everyone. Thanks for the wonderful introduction and amazing video. Loving the emoji game. Hey everyone, thanks for joining.
Over to you, Vidhu.
Awesome. Cool. Hey everyone, let's get into it. So let me give a small intro to myself again. So I think Shreya did an amazing job, but just a little bit about myself. So I'm a product designer with Big Basket right now, and previously with Rocketium and worked with Tidy in various startups in Bangalore. And also I'm a mentor and speaker with different places like ADP List and Designers Lab right now. Because I mentor, because I believe in like contributing back to the community and giving values like more important, and that's the place like where we can learn together with like with speaking to everyone else. So that's what I believe in. So that's why I try to contribute as much as possible back to the community again. And also I'm a productivity enthusiast. If you guys know me, like I post a lot of things about productivity, and also I'm focusing on like how to live a meaningful, happy, and a productivity life. So that's a quick just about me. Let's start with a small quote. Any product that needs a manual to work is broken. It's a quote by Elon Musk. So this quote, like I truly believe it's connected to our entire like a product experience or how we are trying to build our experiences. Because if we, every time if we tell something to do our users, we have to like make an entire user manual. So that's what like I believe in. Like we don't need like manuals to create a great experience. Like experiences creates a great user flow and like all the other things what we see in the product space. So let's talk about a little bit about what are the experiences and how motion as an experience is going to fit in all the place. So let's start with what are the experiences we have. So if you take the entire product space, right, we have starting with UI design or user interface design, then we have user experience design, then we have customer experience design, then we have visual experience design. So combine all the things like product design, product experiences make an entire circle of it. So but if you see like motion experience, right, it's going to overlap for the entire space because motion is going to play across all the space, starting with UI design and creating user experience toward it and how it can impact consumer experience and how it's going to play same consistent role with visual experience. So this is what like product experience like comes in play, right? But if you take the businesses and the brand experience, it's going to like overlap in all spaces like in the same way. Like it's going to like overlap with the business experience also or the brand experience. So that's what like motion plays, where motion stays like overlapping space across all the experience we have already. So let's talk about what is motion experiences. So as Shreya shared, like motion brings emotions. Definitely, that's absolutely true. So motion brings life and like essence to a product. But what exactly motion experience is, or what exactly motion experience design is? So motion experience is a combination with motion design and experience and interaction design. So if you take motion design, right, motion design is where we see like videos or like any other like graphics comes in like movies or like different kind of digital experiences. Combining motion design with experience design and interaction design gives you like a different solving of like user problems or how we can strategize the entire user experience. So solving user problems using motion and animation is the fundamental or the foundations for motion experience design. So it's converts into bringing life to products. So when we say like bringing life to products, right, like when we use the interactions, when we give that experience, like that's what like brings that energy into the products, that's what like brings the life to the products itself. So let's see what other companies has to say about motion or like about animations. So what IBM says is that create animation create energy within an interface and lets the user know what is happening before, during, and after the action. For example, if you make an action, what is happening at that particular time and how it brings an energy to an interface. That's what IBM takes on like entire animation and motion experiences. But if you take Google, slightly different, but it's kind of stays in the same way. For example, motion should above all else like help guide users, providing them with right information at the right time, which means like we should provide informations to the users at the right time and the right information. So for example, what kind of information should be like highlighted for a particular user? If you are using a weather app, so what's the first thing you want to see? You want to see the temperature, or you want to see like whether it's going to rain or not. So that's the first thing like we want to see as that's the right information. How we can bring the right information to the users at the right time. But if you consider the entire motion space, right, like it's not just like definition. We have like so much things to like learn about or so much things to talk about. So let's talk with what is the fundamental difference or like what is the primary difference between UI animations and motion animation, which also animation experience also called as like UX animations. So let's see like what is the difference between what we have right now. So let's talk about UI animations. So UI animation is primarily built on the scale of like giving a visual appearance or giving like or talking about more delightful experience to the users. So UI animation doesn't have to be part of the UI experience or like building the UI proper experience like all the time. It can be like a little bit just giving a delightful experiences. You can just like star is popping out somewhere. If you're giving a rating, it's just like stars pop out. That can be like fundamental of UI animations. Let's see like a small example around it. So if you see this animation, right, it has like so much moving parts. It's kind of like goes like across all the space. Like when you scroll, like all the animation is moving up and down. You can see like content is coming and flow. It's a really pretty cool animation, right? But do you think it's a UX motion, UI animation or a UX animation? So obviously this is an UI animation because we have like different parts covers around like moving objects, like, but it doesn't solve any user problems. So it's not about just a UI animation. So motion experience covers a little bit different field where it talks about meaningful and contextual animations, how we can add a purpose to a product, or how we can bring a purpose and life to a product with animations. Then how we can narrate to an interface, how we can create like a narrative story using animations, then how we can bring an expression to a product. But we can do all this, but where to start about it? Like what is the fundamental thing where to start? So how can we do it? So what is the fundamental interaction that we do with any app? So which is basically interactions, right? Like we start with interactions. That's what like the fundamental, like how we are going to like click on somewhere or click on a screen. That's pretty much what we call as interactions. So we have like different kinds of interactions. So starting with real-time interactions. So real-time interactions is when you move an interaction or when you make an action on this digital system or a digital screen. So it can be like a draggable interactions, or it can be like a scrollable interactions, or it can be like mouse over and mouse down. So when you hover a mouse, what is the animation is happening? How is getting highlighted? Or when your mouse is down, like when you move the mouse away from the button, what is the animation is happening? Those kind of interactions comes in real-time interactions when it actively reacts to your action. That's what real-time interactions means. Then we have non-real time. Non-real time is basically when you do an action and the reactions take after that place. For example, clicking a page, or like when you click it, what is happening next? When you click a card, it's the card is opening. How card is opening about it? And when you like on the other kind of like a non-real-time interaction is like when you're trying to load a page, what kind of interaction when it's coming, or when you're loading like a different component, what kind of interactions is happening at that component, how we are showing the loading. So those comes under non-real-time interaction because you don't have to actively react to it, but there is some kind of like animation happening or some kind of interactions happening there. Those comes under non-real-time interactions. Then what we have is like the new one, or like the next phase of like what we are seeing is like voice and device interactions. So how we can interact with the device where it need any interactions. For example, if you take like Google Meet, we don't need any interactions. If you take even like Google Maps, like we can just like tell it to our voice. There is no interaction needed. But do we need interaction with touch? For example, even Google Maps, you can do an interaction with the touch or interaction with another. For example, when you control like a volume from a different like a Google Home app, or we are trying to control like a volume of Alexa from Alexa app, how that volume controlling is happening, how, or when you're trying to convert us trying to like use a smart bulb, like how you're changing the color or how you're changing the brightness. So those comes under like interactions within another app. So this is the primary interactions, like what kind of interactions we can do. So how this interactions is going to impact motion. So how motion is like giving the impact to a particular product or a particular website. So it can be divided into four things. Like we'll start with narrative storytelling. So how to tell a story about it. So for example, if you opening an app onboarding screen, how we can make it as really like a story engaging experience. Or if you take like any gaming, how we can make it like story engaging experience. Like nowadays VR is coming, how can we make the fitness VR it's a storytelling experience? That's what like narrative storytelling means. So when you give us a story or when you use motion as a story, it creates more engaging experience. So let's start with one of my favorite example, which is like Google Homes app. So this is when you're trying to connect a new device to Wi-Fi. So this gives like a really engaging experience where you don't have to see, like you don't have to understand what is going on. You can easily see, okay, it's trying to connect to your Wi-Fi. So also this gives like a really engaging experience, how it's connecting or not, what is happening at the time. So this is one of like a really good examples, like how we can use like a really different storytelling without telling any context towards around it. And the other one is like we have like in BP Daily, this is like when you're trying to select a location. This is like one of the addition which we did recently. So when you're trying to select a society, or when you're trying to select like a delivery location, this gives you like different animation, like okay, this select delivery location has been selected, or this is your location, or this is your society. This is like something which gives a story, okay, this has been selected at the time. Then at finally, like the best way of using like narrative storytelling is like onboarding screens. How you can give a like really engaging experience when you're onboarding a particular app. How can you make like step-by-step process for an onboarding experience? That's what like narrative storytelling comes in play. Then we have the other thing, how motion can help in communications. How can it give like guiding users, or how can it give feedbacks, or how can it proceed like contextual information at the right time. So this is where like the same Google Home example comes in. So here you can see like two different loops, right? But there's like two different variations. One is a success one and one is a failed one. So without even seeing what happened, or without even like understanding, without even reading any context or the text, you can easily understand whether it's a success flow or it's a fail flow. So this gives like engaging experience for the user, for like when they're using the app. This is what like creating, like, for example, they don't even get distracted, or they don't even have to see what happened in the other device. They can easily understand what is happening. That's what communication comes in play. And creating contextual animations. For example, this is like old example of Uber Eats, where it's like kind of use the same, like what we have like in utensils, like for example spoke, like same using the same kind of like a plate and the spoke, like it's kind of like having a loading icon. So it means like, okay, the app is still loading. So it gives a contextual product. So animation like used in the context, and also it tells what's happening in the background of the product, or it's like trying to connect to internet, or it's trying to load your location. And also it has like more contextual to the users. And how we can guide users. So here, like there is a small nudge, right? So that's what guiding users. So when you have like small nudge using animation or using motions, so how we can guide users. For example, when you're trying to guide, okay, and swipe to unlock, or like swipe, like press home to unlock. So those kind of like guiding users is also like helps motion to create a new experience. So then we have like feedback. So once you're like guiding, so what is the feedback around it? How we can bring the feedback? For example, when you enter wrong person, or when you're entering a right person, what is the feedback around it? Or when you are entering like a wrong, like you are entering a text field and you enter a wrong text field, like how we can give feedback around it? So that's what like feedbacks also plays, like motion plays a vital role around it. And the third one is like how we can make a purposeful animation, like how we can educate users, how we can avoid distractions, and how we can also like add expressions to the product. So adding expressions, right? Like this is one of the example like I have seen, like adding like expressions. So for example, if you're trying to give a rating like of 1, it gets a sad emoji. When you're trying to give a rating of 10, it gives like happy emoji. So this is like adding expressions to the product. Then talking about like voice and device interaction, right? Like if you see like while you're holding a slider or the volume changes, it gives like a real-time feedback towards around it. And also it doesn't get distracted from the user to see like another device. You can easily control all the devices here itself. And also it gives a different experience, like giving a purposeful like a slider, like how we can like animate, like how we can like scroll around it, or we can like hold the slider around it. So how much you can control the volume. This all comes under a purposeful animations part. And the last one is like around Google Keep. So here you can see it, right? It's educating the users where the next card might go into fit. So if you drag and drop, like you can easily understand where the next card might come into fit. So it educates the user, okay, this is where the card is going to come and like place. And the fourth category is like micro interactions. So micro interactions also plays a vital role in bringing the brand experience, or like how the brand personality is about. So also like it's mostly like used in the static stage, but what is happening? So it can be used in the website, and also like it can be used for a playful context, and also it can enhance the user interactions of the user. For example, on this one, right? If you move the mouse, like it's like kind of slightly moves. So if you move the mouse like faster, it kind of also blinks and also like smiles around it. So it gives the brand personality around it. So what kind of brand personality you can bring it? So here, like it's once you open the hamburger, like all the animation is happening. So it gives a like brand personality, how playful the brand is, how playful the content is. Then the next example is from a like where the app where you can create like fonts like by scanning it. So here once you open the website, all the fonts is gonna like fall down. So it brings the brand personality, and also it's had that micro interaction where you can bring like different context around it, on where the like how it's also like sells the brand personality towards it. And so this is the kind of like impacting things we can make around with the motion. But now we made motion, right? Like we made animations. So the hardest part to solve, how we can do the handover, how we can gonna do the handover specs to developers. So there are multiple ways around it. So the first one is like about text specs. So text specs is basically like taking the entire like animation specs and just converting into a text layer, or like a different kind of like text. For example, starting Y animation, like Y portion, what is the value that I'm going to take, or like what is the duration of that particular screen that you want to like animate, or what is the curve, like whether it's a linear curve or it's a Eason ESO curve, what are kind of like curves that you are going to take. So those kind of like interactions it might come in play. So this is like kind of like how a text interactions might look like for a particular animation. Then the second one is like chart specs, which is developed by Google. So chart specs, it's basically giving a chart space like animation specs like for individual animations. For example, here you can see it, like we have like starting with radio button, like what is the radio button's animations here, and when it starts, when it's going to end, and what is the curve here, and what kind of like curves is going to come next, and how like when it's the other animation is going to start, and how it's going to end. So this like what is the position is changing here. So all this comes under like in a chart specs animation. So these are the primary like basic kind of like exports that you can do. And finally, like we have the no code development, where how we can like use no code as a part of like in our handover specs, how we can use no code. The first one, and also like before going into no code, just a small disclaimer, no code sometimes means sometimes can be less code. It doesn't have to be like always no code. So the first one which we are going to see on no code is Lottie. So Lottie is one of the amazing tool we have, like converting all the After Effects animations into converting into like JSON based animations. Like anyone can play the video. Awesome video, right? So that's what body moving is. So like whatever you can want to build on After Effects, you can directly transfer into like JSON for a Lottie exports. Awesome, right? So will it be more awesome if I say like whatever you see like in the previous slides or whatever you're seeing, like all the examples, like more than 80% of the examples is made using Lottie. So that's an advantage, or like that's a advanced like Lottie for you. Like you can make like most of the animations like from After Effects and you can export into Lottie files. And the next one what we have is like Webflow. So Webflow comes like as a like a different like a no code tool where you can create like multiple websites and you'll be able to export the code. And in Webflow right now you can interact, like you can add like multiple levels of interactions, you can even add like 3D based interactions, and you can export into like different sets of code. That's what like Webflow comes in. And the other tool what we have is called like Animator by Haiku, where you'll be able to create an animation and export into different sets of JavaScript. For example, you can export into like TypeScript, or you can export into like different sets of JavaScript where you can create like different like kind of like a statements. Also you can create like scripts and how we can export like all those things. So that's what like Animator by Haiku. So when you click on publish, you'll be able to see all types of like React. You can export to React, you can export to like different sets of animations here. Then finally we have Framer.api. So Framer API, which will allows you to kind of like create components using motion, and you will be able to use all the components based like motion like animation like motion components into your own design itself. That's what like Framer API comes in. So now we have like all the handoffs, right? Like what are the tools that we are going to use now? So how we can create like motions like in different tools. So there are like different categories of tools, right? Like there are like categories which will just help you to create prototypes. So you can just like use Figma or XD, or these other tools will help you to just to create prototypes. For example, Figma, XD, InVision, Sketch, and Marvel are the prototyping tools. So you won't able to do like much function, but you'll be able to create like amazing prototypes with it. And we have like timeline based, where you'll be able to change individual timelines. You'll be able to change like question X, question Y, or you'll be able to change like all the like remaining like curves like from the inside. How we can change it? Like, those are comes like from the timeline tool. Start from After Effects, Principle, Animator by Haiku, Flow, and InVision Studio. Then we have the most interactive tools. Protopy is one of the amazing interaction tool. You can add like 3D interactions. You can create 3D animations. Then we have Framer. Then we have Webflow. So these are the interactive tools. Then we have the other like set of tools which like comes under code. So starts from Framer, Lottie, and we have Animator by Haiku. So these are the different set of like code tools which you can able to export as a code. So coming back to the original statement, like any product that needs a manual to work is broken. So this is how we can make like experiences better using motion, whether we don't need a manual to work on. Awesome. So if you want to connect with me, it's at Vidhunnan everywhere, and that's all from my side.
Awesome, Vidhu. That was fantastic. I mean, what all you shared with us, we are like blown away with the kind of information we had, and it was fantastic to have
Awesome.
all the thoughts from your side. So now we're going to move to the Q&A section for today. So what we would like from you audiences is like put down in the comments if you have questions for Vidhu regarding motion design, no code, whatever you would like to know about. This is the time that you can ask all what you would like to understand in motion design. And Vidhu, we do have some questions for you that we got during
Awesome.
RSVP, so we would like to take them. So
Sure.
let's
Amazing.
start. The first question is, how many years of experience is required to get the first job as a motion designer? So
that's interesting one. I mean, I don't like it's about like, I don't think there is like a minimum experience required, because like you will be start practicing when you like found a passion about towards motion design or when you do animation. So I think like that's like kind of like experience, like in a way like you can have like on-air experience, but experience like when you have like a really good portfolio, I think that's more than enough for getting a first job. I don't think like experience like matters, because if you can do it, that's what like everyone wants.
True. Yeah, definitely. Portfolio, I mean, is what sells the designer, right? It talks about your skills, it talks about your experiences. So yeah, let's move on to the second questions. So the second one is, do I need to have storytelling skills to become a motion designer? Well, that's my
It's
question too.
awesome. Actually, it's a really good skill to have, because like storytelling can be part of the motion designer, or it can be part of like an entire team where there is a storyteller or a story writer who writes a script and like gives it to a motion designer. But it's a really skill set to have for a motion designer, because he can create his own stories, or he can create his own level of like animations. That's what helps like for a motion designer to have like a story skill or storytelling skills to become like a great motion designer. So it's a hanging balance in between necessary and like good to have. So it's like, I would say like it's in between both.
Yeah, definitely. And I would like to add there that, if you are engaging your users with a story, they can relate more to it. And then combined with motion, it just does the awesome
That
job, right?
that's
Yeah,
just awesome. Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, definitely. So we have another question from Himanshu. He has commented in the chat, and let's take that, Vidhu. Can we
Yeah, I think
convert
like,
a hand-drawn animation in JSON?
I mean, there are multiple ways we can do it, but like hand-drawn animation, if you hand-drawn, I'm not sure what exactly you meant by hand-drawn. For example, if you recorded something, or if you like, it's a 2D based animation, I don't think we can, but there is a way you can create as a frame by frame animations and convert it to like individual frames as a JSON file, and you can still use it. So that's a one way of doing it. There are like multiple like hacks behind it to do it. For example, you can draw it with a stroke animation inside After Effects, or you can just like have like maybe like frame by frame like individual files around it. You can convert into JSON. There is a ways around it, but it's just a hack to do it.
Yeah, definitely. I hope that answered your question, Himanshu. Let us know. We have the next question from Manoj, and his question is Lottie Files lightweighted? Yeah.
Obviously, yeah, that's why we love using Lottie Files. Lottie Files is obviously like lightweighted. So I think even in the body moving video, I think there are like few comparisons which comes in play. Like for example, what is the body moving like Lottie Files like size might be, and what is the GIF size and image size might be. I think Lottie Files stays like very low actually. I think it's also like mentioned on Lottie Files Files website itself. So you should definitely check Lottie Files website for like more understanding. I think Lottie Files is the best, like you can get lightweighted animations for development.
Yeah, and adding to your question, Manoj, if you use Lottie Files, even for a very heavy animation, be it like 4 seconds, 5 seconds, to even 10 seconds, your developers are not gonna step back because it's so much light, and you can check the KBs how lightweighted it is. So let's move on to the next question, Vidhu. So we have a question from Raghul. Super informative, great presentation, obviously. Thanks to our speaker.
Thank you.
What was used to create this presentation?
It's by Keynote. So Keynote is Apple's PowerPoint alternative. So it's created using Keynote.
Awesome. Yeah, I hope that answered
And thanks
your
for the
question,
wonderful
Raghul.
comment. Yeah.
We have the next question from Harish Gautam. Does Lottie File allow After Effects shape layers?
I think it does. I think we can still use shape layers, but there are like few limitations. What kind of effect that you are adding, or what kind of like shape animation that you are trying to make. I think some of like all the stroke based animations or the path based animations supported by Lottie Files.
Yep. That's true.
That's a great
true.
question. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's move on to our next question. We have lots of questions for you, Vidhu. I think your session was just awesome for all our viewers. And make sure you have hit the like button, people, because we need your support to spread this video across to all of our audiences and potential people who want to learn more about Lottie Files and motion design. So next question is from Siddhant. He says, does Lottie animation give full control to the developer to make it interactive based on user action when used in web or app?
Actually, it's a great question, but there are like few limitations in Lottie Files, or like because Lottie Files is really suitable for non-real-time interactions. So if you making like interactions like based on clickable actions, I think that's the time I think Lottie Files might have some kind of limitations, but it's a really good space to explore around it. So, but there are like different controls you can use using Lottie Files. Like the developers will have enough control, like changing colors, changing like different animation time, and so you can have like still controls around it, but it's not just like not in the real time, like not in the like clickable kind of like interactions so far. So that's what like my way of understanding around it.
Yep, yep. Thank you, Siddhant, for your question. I hope we answered it correctly. Well, we have the next question from Chiranjeet, and the question is: sometimes I use Lottie files to convert 3D PNG sequences into JSON file. Is that the best way of exporting it? Because the file size becomes pretty large. Ooh.
I mean, I think it can answer the question itself because it's a PNG sequence, so it's going to combine all the files. So it's going to get large, like, but I don't think there is like a other way like to export it right now. So if you're gonna add like 3D PNG sequences, I think into JSON, it will get higher because like it's individual frame files, or it's like it's going to like have the frame by frame file size. So I'm not sure is there any other way, but I think we can connect later. Maybe like we can explore around it. I'm happy to help if you need help needed.
Awesome. Yeah. We're going to be sharing Vidhu's handle so you can, bug him with all your questions if you have more. So let's move on to the next question, which we have from Kumar Swami. So his question is, any courses you suggest to learn motion design?
Obviously it's Saptasri's motion design masterclass. I think that's the best place to start around it. So after that, I think once you started, you can see like what kind of like kind of like motion you like. Then I think after that there are like multiple courses across YouTube. There are different online courses that you can take from Skillshare or Udemy or like Coursera. You can take it from there. I think, but to start, I think Saptasri's motion masterclass is the best way to start around it.
Yeah, and Kumar Swami, make sure you start with something like really simple. Just try to move a rectangle or a circle or a square. Like do something very very basic so that you get to understand what motion you want to create, and then maybe you can make it more complex going forward. And definitely share it on Lottie Files because it's an awesome place to share all your animations with us. So we have a question from Anthony. Hi, Anthony. He asked how to create isometric animations.
That's an interesting question, but it's about like the same kind of like how we are gonna like make different like storyboards, like how the like object is gonna move around it. But it's about like starting from the storyboard, try to create like isometric in storyboards, like in individual frames, how we want to move around it. Then after that, like obviously like starting with After Effects, then you can animate around it. So that's a way to do it, but I'm not sure like whether it's answered the question or exactly what you're expecting from me.
Yeah, Anthony, let us know if you have more questions, follow-up questions to that. We'd like to take it up. Next question is from Chiranjeet again. WebM versus Lottie file use cases. I'm not sure what he's looking for here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what's exactly WebM, so I need to maybe like see about it. But Lottie Files has like very limited file size. Like, it's very lightweight. That's the advantage like using Lottie Files everywhere. And it's also like Lottie Files gives you like very easy development like implementations also. So that's a use case like what we have around Lottie Files. So WebM, I'm just going to Google it to see like what WebM is. If I'm right, I think it's web movie format.
Sure.
Okay, WebM is also like another media format where we can use as a alternative to HTML5 videos.
I think he has a follow-up question. Let me just.
Sure.
Which one should be used where?
So I think web movie it's more like a movie format, right? I think it's like if you're just using like somewhat in the movie format, and Lottie Files other advantage like you can even like it's SVG format basically, so you can able to scale it down or scale it up easily, so it won't like lose any like like any quality around it. So that's the advantage, like where if you want to see like Lottie Files, where you want to use it.
I hope that answered you your question.
I think
We
we
have
have an answer
almost
from Anthony. I think we have an answer from Anthony. Yeah.
it's optimal for video on website web. Okay. So awesome. Oh my God, that was fantastic. There are so many questions which came from you all. We are overwhelmed that you all liked the session, and it was so interactive to have all of you here. And let's thank Vidhu for his uh, time for us and in Lottie Files. Vidhu, would you like to say some last words?
Awesome. Like it's been like thanks for hosting this thing. Amazing. Thanks for everyone like attended. Like awesome questions actually. Yeah. Thanks for everyone and have a great night. See you guys.
Thank you, Vidhu. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks for.
So, folks, we are almost coming to the end of this live session, and we have a surprise for you as we promised. So, the surprise is that all of you awesome folks who have asked this fantastic questions today in the session are going to be rewarded with our giveaway from Lottie Bangalore. So, we're going to be announcing the winners of the folks who have asked these awesome questions to our speaker, and the names of the two winners are Himanshu and Siddhant. So Himanshu and Siddhant, many congratulations to you for winning this giveaway from our side. What we would like from you is on our social handles, DM us with your email addresses so that we can connect with you and share these giveaways. We had a fantastic session. I am energized to have you all in today's session. Make sure that you send us a DM on our handles that you can see flashing on the screen. Follow us at lottie.bangaluru on Instagram and Lottie Bengaluru on Twitter. There would be one face-to-face sessions as well when we conduct more sessions. So we're going to be interacting with each other live. So make sure that you're connected with us, and we'll be really excited to host you all. We have a feedback form as well, which you can see on the screen. Make sure you scan the code and let us know what you felt about today's event. Also, let us know what you would like to learn next from Lottie Bangalore. Stay connected with us, and that is the end of today's session. Please provide feedbacks. Tell us how you felt about today's event. We are so happy to have you all today. Thank you everyone. And I'm going to be taking your leave now. And thank you everyone for today's session. Bye-bye. See you all.